Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Blackbeard McFuckboy Show, where we'll be talking all things black, queer, and scruffy. I'm your host, Blackbeard McFuckboy, or as I should say, Redbeard McFuckboy, because my beard is red. So yeah, really, people just kept coming up to me and being like, yo, you should dye the beard red, that would look so fucking fire. So now I'm, on my way to becoming the world's biggest black Bic lighter. I'm also accomplished in other regards since we last met. I graduated college somehow. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So the thing I want to talk about this week is the social media cancellation of beauty vlogger and fellow YouTuber James Charles. Second off, basically what happened was that fellow vlogger and mentor to James Charles, Tati Westbrooks, released a 45-minute video basically accusing James of like a whole bunch of shit. The most noteworthy out of those things was the fact that James was a predator of straight men. She basically claims that he's of the queer mentality equivalent of Donald Trump, claiming that his fame allows him into the pants of anyone that he desires. So obviously, yeah, that's a little fucked up. And despite the social, sort of commonplace that is straight men hitting on queer women, I do think that James should face some sort of ridicule and criticism for simply, using his fame to attempt to blur the lines of consent, which is not okay for anyone. Now, that being said, I dug a little deeper and did some research on, the background behind this whole thing, and I found some interesting stuff. So basically, this whole thing started because James endorsed a vitamin brand that is the competitor of the one that he usually endorses for his friend Tati. So that's one of the things that comes across a little bit sleazy to me, because that means that this whole little clique of beauty vloggers were well aware of James' behavior, but only decided to make it public knowledge when their finances were getting fucked with, basically. In addition to that, one of the so-called straight victims that Tati calls out James for pursuing in her video has come forward and admitted that not only did he hit up James on every social media platform after meeting him through his waiting job, but also that James only became dismissive of him after he revealed he was straight to James after making out in his hotel room for an hour. So obviously that last part is bullshit, because the only members of the LGBT community who'd bring a hot waiter up to their hotel room and only make out are lesbians and probably asexuals. So I think it goes without saying that somewhere along the way there was some dick sucking. And don't get me wrong, I'm totally on board with people experimenting with their sexuality before taking on the sort of social stigma that comes attached with identifying as anything non-heterosexual. But I'm a little confused as to how queer people are expected to be vessels for this experimentation, but at the same time we're not allowed to have any sort of feelings when, these people ghost us in 2 weeks after discovering themselves. And as someone who's had a few straight men hit up the DMs, I can tell you that it's almost always a lose-lose situation. On one end, if they discover that they're actually straight, they're probably going to block you because that's the 21st century way of erasing a sexual encounter, basically. And on the other end, if they realize that they are bi or gay or some other sexuality that's non-heterosexual, chances are they're still going to leave you because people rarely buy the first car that they test drive. So although he did put himself in the situation by specifically seeking out straight or confused men, I do feel for James just a little bit. A lot of young gays are drawn in by the sort of Degrassi-esque fantasy of the straight jock who blows the kid that he bullies after lacrosse practice. But sexuality is so nuanced, and there's such a variety of circumstances around each individual when it comes to coming out that can leave a lot of young people in a sort of state of fear. So I do think if you've had the privilege of, knowing your exact sexuality and coming out, I think you should invest time romantically with people from similar backgrounds. And if you are confused about your sexuality, don't rush to fuck the first guy willing to give you the time of day, because you're probably going to end up sabotaging your own self-discovery by putting yourself in a situation that you're either not ready for or that you're going to be uncomfortable in. And I know it can get fucking lonely, believe me. You know, if I had more than $80 in my account, I'd open up like a fucking bar with just, you know, a question mark on top where all the sexually confused people can meet and date each other without social ridicule, but I don't. So until then, you know, wait it out, talk to some close friends about it, and I'm sure you'll quickly find out that you're not an anomaly. Alright, that's all the time we have for this week. Once again, I'm Blackbeard McFuckboy. Please remember to like and subscribe below, and safe journeys.